This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. We are glad to have you with us. As I mentioned, there is a new candidate for the U.S. Senate in 2020. He is from Camden, Arkansas. No worries for Senator Tom Cotton, however. This candidate is running for the U.S. Senate in Alabama. I'm joined by Tommy Tuberville.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Good to have you with us.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
Glad to know that everybody should know that he is a native of Camden, Arkansas there. What does it say about a person that they would rather run for the U.S. Senate than get back on the coaching sidelines? This could be a very bad signal for the coaching profession.
Well, after 40 years of putting up with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, I decided to try to put up with everybody, no matter what age. But it's, coaching was a lot of fun. High school for 4 years in Hermitage, Arkansas, and then coached at Arkansas State for a few years with Larry Lacewell, and then another Arkansas athlete from University of Arkansas, Jimmy Johnson, hired me in, I guess, 1986 and went to Miami. And that was kind of my upshoot in my coaching career.
Yep. So in this U.S. Senate bid, can we expect, since you had your stint at Auburn, can we expect a Bo Jackson and a Charles Barkley endorsement?
Well, who knows? I've talked to Charles, and he's been a friend for a long time. I tell you, he's huge into sports in college and high school. Charles really gives back.
Let's turn our attention to the U.S. Senate. You're running as a Republican for the opportunity to run against Senator Doug Jones, who won that special election over there. You've been pretty strongly supportive of the president from a lot of things I can read in your Twitter feed and some of the statements that you put out there. You're up in a few state polls. Do you think this election for the Senate is going to be a referendum on Doug Jones, on Tommy Tuberville, or on President Trump?
I think probably for President Trump. I think everybody's kind of worried about the direction the country's trying to go. President Trump's trying to take it in one direction, and we've got a group on the left that's trying to take it in another direction. President Trump, to me, is really the only guy that's standing between socialism and the United States of America. A vote for me is a vote for President Trump. I believe in what he's doing and the things that he's gotten accomplished. I wish they would allow him to be president instead of having to fight all the things that are coming at him from all sides. Mm-hmm. He was elected president of the United States. Let him run out his term, whether it's one term or whether it's two terms. I hope he gets reelected, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the people think.
You have been critical and broken from him on agriculture policy, particularly the Chinese tariffs. You have seen what they have done to a state's economy, like in Alabama. Arkansas is a very similar agricultural economy here. How would you change the president's position on those tariffs if you could?
Well, after going around the state and visiting with our farmers, all the farmers in the state of Alabama are really for President Trump. They understand what he's trying to do. He's not trying to hold them back. He's trying to get them the best deal for the future, not for 1 year. And so there wouldn't be much I would change. I think President Trump is the guy that really is, he's the guy that's actually going to try to get something done. The past presidents that we've had have kind of kicked the can down the road, and we need something done with China. I've talked to a lot of CEOs across the country, and they say, well, finally somebody stepped up to the plate and said, listen, enough's enough. We got to hold China to what they're supposed to be doing, and us try to make more money with what we send over there. They tariff the heck out of us. He's just trying to get fair trade. I'm for free trade, but I'm also for fair trade, and if we don't get that, then we're going to hurt not just the farmers, but everybody in this country with the technology that we're starting to implement all throughout this country.
You mentioned socialism earlier. We're kind of propping up the farm economy right now with these mitigation payments, or what they're called. I think we spent about $28 billion this year and last year. That can't go on in perpetuity, can it?
No,
at some point,
no.
where would you draw the line on that?
And the farmers, they don't want a handout. They want to earn their money like everybody else. But, when you've had the problem with the tariffs, President Trump has tried to support them, with the money that he's made off the tariffs. He's pumped back into the farmers because this year the prices have been hurt. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody more supportive in this country than President Trump of the farmers. But somebody, at some point has to do what he's doing, and the farmers understand that.
Let's turn to the 800-pound political gorilla in the room, and that is the impeachment inquiry that's going on up in Washington, D.C. There's been a lot of information released from some of the statements that have been made. The president has even released this partial transcript of what's been going on. Do you see anything in the president's actions asking the Ukrainian president to investigate the Bidens that would be to the level of an impeachable offense to you?
Yeah, not for what we've seen as citizens. You know, we're not privy to a lot of the stuff that's out there. Over a phone call, give me a break. You know, all that's going, and I'm a normal citizen like you, and we're all sitting back looking at this, and we've seen the Russia collusion, we've seen the racism part, and then we've seen the narrative of the phone call. To me, all that's happening is Congress really has nothing to do. They have no agenda to push from the House. The Democrats don't. All they're trying to do is run the clock out on President Trump. There's a lot we could get done. There's a lot we can get done. We need to help the American people. We need to quit worrying about who's president of the United States and everybody do their job so the American people, the taxpayer, can get back to a real life and hopefully help them in the future.
Give me one thing you would be doing right now outside of the circus that's going on up there. If you were up there now today, what would you be championing?
Somebody asked me, what do you think you'd be a good senator? I've been out in public life for 40 years. I've been in schools, I've been in businesses, homes all across the country. A lot of people are hurting. And one thing, if we don't stop the influx of drugs in this country, we're not going to make it. We don't really realize how many people we're losing. Last year, we lost 60 to 70,000 people for overdosing on drugs. All starts at the border. Now, I know all the drugs don't come across the border, but most of them do. President Trump's exactly right. First of all, we got to put the wall up to know who's coming in. We need people to come in this country, but we can't afford the people that's coming over by the hundreds of thousands. We can't afford the people in this country now. American taxpayer are broke. We send them the money, they spend it all, but they continue to make us and want us to pay for people that's coming here. We want to help them, but we got to help the people here first.
Some would argue that immigrants make a lot of contributions to the American economy. They pay taxes, they support themselves, they bring in generations of workers to do jobs that some Americans wouldn't do.
Yeah, some people pay taxes. We've got 20 to 30 million people in this country. We don't know who they are or if they're paying taxes or not. Hey, I'm from coming here, but we got to know who's here.
Yeah. You were born in Camden, Arkansas, raised in South Arkansas, went to school in South Arkansas. Did you ever think that you would be in the upper echelons of collegiate coaching and running for the U.S. Senate when you were a kid? What were your aspirations back then?
That's what this great country gives you. You know, I tell people if you were born in this country, you hit the lottery because it gives you a chance to accomplish anything you want. I don't care who you are. You know, we were a poor family in Camden. My dad never made over $15,000 a year. We didn't know we were poor. We were taught to work. We were taught to worship our God. We were taught to do things the right way, respect. And it gave me the opportunity to make a decision when I got out of Southern Arkansas to go teach high school for 4 years. And then after 4 years, it gave me the opportunity to say, you know, I'm gonna go try getting into college coaching. Now, it was hard. It took me 8 or 9 years to get to that break. But I accomplished that. And then a little later on, I became a head coach in the SEC, and later on, won them all and was National Coach of the Year. What other country would give you that opportunity? And now, for a coach to have the opportunity to run, maybe not win, maybe win, but at least run for the U.S. Senate.
You're up in the polls, get that Bo Jackson and that Charles Barkley and that Nick Saban endorsement, I think you're in. Tommy Tuberville, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you very much. We're back with more right after this.